Eh, my God.
Eh, my God.
Oh my God.
Let's get into it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, hello.
Hi.
In case you don't know me, I am Lisi Harrison. What's your name?
I'm Ellen Marlowe. You might know us from the esteemed Clique series. Very famous.
Novels and film. Yes.
Novels and film. So I was in the movie. I played Claire, which, yes, people in public call me Claire at least once a week. It's just my name forever is Claire with a hyphen. And obviously you wrote how many Clique books?
23, so I am the author. I played God in the world. And
Fabulous.
I created you and Claire, which is bizarre. Anyway, this podcast is where we come together and discuss issues, sure, the Clique, but on a broader scale, issues that discuss women of all ages and all stages, because as you can tell, one of us is older than the other. I'm not going to reveal what or who. That's up for you to decide. But we are going to explore issues that affect both of our generations, Gen X, Millennial, from our different points of view.
Yeah.
And today's issue affects us all, no matter how old you are, tragically. It's about old friend dynamics. Old friend dynamics die hard. Just that whole idea about how we revert to our old selves when we're surrounded by the people who knew us before we knew ourselves.
Yeah.
So you might encounter that when you go back home for holidays, when you are around your old friend group. It is a topic that is very top of mind for me right now because as I write the new adult Clique book, which is about the Pretty Committee and the Clique coming together after not being together since 8th grade, and the dynamics and just sort of what comes up for them having not been together, the way they revert to their old selves, their old roles, and sort of why this happens in the book, but on a broader scale, why it happens to all of us in life on planet Earth.
Also, slight digression. How's that going?
It's going well. Thank you for
how
asking.
how you doing?
I'm doing all right. No, it's great. I am chugging along chapter by chapter. It is slower, harder process than writing the original Clique series, obviously, because their world is not established. I'm really trying to figure out who they are today, and then on top of it, how they are together. So it is really fun to write and to explore.
Yeah.
And these issues, the ones that we're talking about today, really come up constantly. You know, why are they reverting back to their old roles? What is going on with them? What goes on with all of us? And obviously this is an issue that we can all relate to. And so we wanted to talk about it today. And maybe this conversation will help inform the novel.
Well, that's what's really interesting about the novel is because when we first started talking about it, it was the opportunities are just limitless. Like we could go so many different directions. It was really hard to kind of fine tune what the thesis of the book was going to be in the initial outlining stages when we were talking about this 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. And so now, like, we have landed on the fact that we have all of the same insecurities that we had when we were in middle school. So the question is, do people really change? And yes, we do change and we do evolve and we grow, but a lot of the times our insecurities from when we were 12 and 13 are the same ones that we have in our 30s, 40s, 50s. Forever. And those things kind of come out when you're around the people that were present during that time in your life, for sure. So it definitely got our wheels turning in terms of story and the character dynamics. It's just, it is
a universal dynamic. And so much of it is just like how we are wired as human beings. You know, when you're going back, let's say to your old town, or you're around your old friends, or a high school reunion or a college reunion, you're stepping into a fully formed ecosystem. Rules have been established, roles have been established. And even though you've gone on with your regular life and you have different relationships and different interests, you snap back. And I was thinking about it. It's sort of like I could compare it to, you know, when you go to church, let's say, there are certain rules and things you know to do in church. There's certain things you know and ways to behave at work, at a football game. We shapeshift and we adapt and we take on the rules of what that situation requires.
Right.
And I think that's what happens when you are reunited with your, let's say, middle school friends. There was an order to things. There were rules. There was a pecking order. There was a hierarchy. And once you reconnect with that, your brain, which is wired to identify patterns, your brain is like, oh, that person's the alpha. I'm the one that forgets everything. That's the hot one. Whatever it is,
Right.
you just snap back. And so unless you've worked through those dynamics in yourself and as a group, those things are going to keep coming back until you're either forced to work through them or walk away from them or accept them for how they are and just like power through it. Those are kind of our options, but I believe that's why that happens.
Do you have an oldest, like who's your oldest friend?
My cousin / best friend from growing up. I mean, we were cousins, so we met from birth. Our families were best friends. We did everything together from summer camp to school to
First cousin,
family vacations. Second cousin. That is the most sort of formative, fraught, and fabulous is sort of how I would define it. Relationship I have. I mean, we were so close. We were so funny, so similar.
Yeah.
And also so deeply different. And I didn't realize that until later in life. And had I known that, it would have offset a lot of the drama and shit that we put each other
conflict
through.
Sure.
A lot. Yeah.
And you're still very close.
We're still close. I mean, she lives in Toronto. I live in California. We don't talk every day at all. But when we do, we snap right back into it for better and worse. So I'll tell you this one story really quickly. She came down we went on a little road trip to Palm Springs maybe last year or the year before. And we were so excited. And it was so sweet of her because it was like it required real effort for her to obviously come down. We did this road trip and the drive there, we were talking and laughing and it was just like so great. And as the days went on, we had a great time, but I realized I was becoming exhausted. And everyone we met, she's like, let's go back to their room and like, let's go hang with them and let's go do that. And I was like, I don't want to do all those things. Like, I want to just hang here and I'm tired and I don't want to meet new people. And it hit me on that trip in such a profound way. She is an extreme extrovert and I am an introvert. And so we grew up with that dynamic. At the time, I did not know that that's what was happening. I didn't realize that till last year. You know, growing up, I was always like, she's got this insatiable appetite for people and socializing and sleepovers, and I'll have one sleepover and then be sick the next day. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I always thought of it as like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I be more like her? And I'd get jealous. And I don't know what was going on from her end. She had issues with me too, and we haven't really discussed them. But from my end, there was this sense of I'm not enough. Why can't I be more like that? Having not realized it was simply just like our wiring. And had I known that, I would have been like, oh, that's just her being an extrovert. I'm going to go let her do her thing. I'm going to go recover. See you in 2 days, you know?
Right.
But that really made me very insecure and feel less than growing up. So it really informed a lot of our dynamic.
That's wild.
It was weird to just figure that out. What about you, old friends?
It could not be more polar opposite than you. Like my entire story. So my oldest friend, who I have friends from childhood and growing up and stuff that I'm still in touch with and stuff, but like my ride or die closest oldest friend that I speak to on a daily basis in some form, whether it's text, Instagram, DM, something. And honestly, we talk on the phone probably every 10 days for about an hour to 4. I talk to this person all the time. And my oldest friend is named Justin Castor. We met in an acting class when I was 12, literally, in Burbank. And we just have always been friends. Like, and since that moment, he's been a constant in my life. He's been through every chapter. Like, he's the only person that had a front row seat to truly every era of my life. COVID, on the phone every single day, like during lockdown. You know what I mean? Like, the good, the bad, the big celebrations, the terrible moments has been with me through all of it. And what's so funny is, like, we've like grown up. Obviously, I'm a completely different person, I think, since I met him when I was 12. He is a completely different person than the person that I met. And I wonder if he feels the same way. Like, I wonder.
Well, in what way is he different?
He's now a licensed esthetician. He's not acting anymore. Just his whole life has completely done a 360. So, but I feel like I'm kind of this. I wonder if he thinks that I'm different than the person that I would hope that I'm evolved, obviously. But I wonder if he thinks that I'm a different person than the person that he met 20 years ago, because I feel that way about him, but like not at the same time. I don't know. It's weird.
And by different, I wonder, like, when you say different person, are you talking about just the details of your life or who you are at your core? Because do we really change who we are at our core?
I know, that's the thing. A lot of things about him have changed
but that's
over the past
just
20 years.
Details. Right. I mean, he's not going to keep riding a big wheel.
What's really funny about him too is that I don't really feel like I revert to my old ways when I'm with him, or like I regress. Like, I don't feel that way. However, I feel the most like myself with him. Like, it's almost like familial. It's almost like my brother or my mom or something. Out of pretty much all of my friends, with the exception, honestly, you and him, I could say, like, I feel the most unafraid to be authentically myself.
The safest. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just like,
and here's
me.
my theory. Oh my God, you're stepping right into my theory. Like, right in.
Go.
Okay, first of all, my theory is if his name was Justine and not Justin, meaning like two girls competing, you know my obsession. I am forming like a real like thesis here, but you guys never competed for the same people, for the same status, for the same wardrobe, for the same body, like the things that define you at that age. You never had to worry about that. You never had a crush on the same person, all of it. That eliminates 90% of the drama that most people experience with their middle school best friends and beyond, high school as well. That's number one.
Have an age gap, which I did not mention.
That's what I was going to say too.
Much older than me.
And so do you and I.
Yeah.
There is you feel safe with us. There's no judgment. It's, again, we're not in the same league. We're not competing for the same things. We're not the same stages in life. And when you remove that inherent female competition that we are wired with, that society has also like forced upon us, you eliminate so much of the drama. Like, if you look at your other friends, I'm not asking you to name any names, obviously, but that are more in your same league, class, like sexuality or whatever, probably more conflict, whether it's overt or internal, but there's more going on there. You just released a very heavy sigh, by the way.
It's true.
That's your tell.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I know.
I know. If we could drop these mics without ruining the audio of this podcast, we would right now. We'd drop these mics.
Totally.
And so, especially with cliques, females competing for the same things, like, how could they possibly not be fraught?
But you know what's funny? I like the girls that I was in a clique with in middle school. I'm still very close with one of them, very close. And she was essentially the Massey Block of our group. Like, she was the alpha, I was the beta of the group, essentially. And we're still very close. It's funny. It's not that I cut the other girls out. I'm just not as close with them. But I've always been the closest with this one, even back then. She and I have always had something different, even outside of the group. I mean, maybe it's even more like Massey and Claire. It's like a separate thing.
Did you feel safer with her? Was there...
We're extremely
maybe because you guys...
like-minded. Extremely
and maybe
like-minded.
you knew your place. I mean... I say that in a weird way, but like, you were very accepting of the fact that you were the beta and she was the alpha. So you were
I'm actually embarrassed. Like, I'm actually Claire. Like, this is our imitating life. Like, you're saying, like, you knew your place. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course I knew my place. I was a new girl at school and she took me under her wing and I like joined their group. Yeah, I was new. They had all known each other since kindergarten and I came in 6th grade, mid-school year, kill me, January, started second semester at a public school in Burbank, absolute hell, didn't know a soul. And the guidance counselor that made my schedule and got me like enrolled at the school, I had just been on Broadway in New York and I moved to LA to start doing film and TV. And she was like, I know who you could be friends with. And she like set me up with Katie because Katie was like the star of choir, like she was like a dancer girly and blonde and oh my God, it's so funny. And so, yeah, she toured me around the school. Like, that was my first friend that I made.
So according to my theory, your guidance counselor could have really screwed you up. She should have really put you with someone who was completely different than you.
I know. And I have faith, like Katie and I would have found each other at some point, like for sure. We would have found each other. We did all the same things. We had the same interests, but it was literally like I was just handed over to the perfect, like, and here's your best friend, which is so funny because that's just like, it's really what happens when we're young, like really little, like because the moms are friends. And so because your moms are friends, you're friends with this kid,
yes,
because the moms want to hang out. That's who you're set up. But like, I was literally just set up with her. Like, this is going to be your best friend at the school. And 20 years later, like, we're still close. It's so wild. But I don't feel like I had a falling out with the rest of the group. Do you believe in cutting people out? Like, what is your thought on that? Like,
of course.
really?
Of course. Yes. Yes, here's the thing. There's two things. If the person is just, you lose touch, your interests change, you don't line up logistically as much anymore. No, you just sort of rack focus. They take on a different role. You love them, but they're not your day to day. If someone is messing you up or toxic, or there's a lot of things that just came to my mind that I won't say any of them. But if this person is not making you feel good in life, then why would you keep them on? Why?
Right.
What is the argument for that? No argument.
I don't feel the need to cut people off like such a hard line unless there was like a confrontation or like a friend breakup of sorts. Like that's the only reason. Otherwise, like I'm pretty open. Like I
feel like it's a slow fade to black. You know what I mean? It's not just a hang up, you're dead to me, block, delete. It's just like a slow fade to black, and suddenly you're like, well, where'd those 7 years go? It's so weird I haven't talked to you. Like, you know, gently creeping backwards out of the room. And that's
Are you
fine.
good at staying in touch with people?
No.
I feel like really?
I'm horrible at it. I'm
my
horrible
God.
at it, notoriously.
Do people get mad at you for not reaching out?
No, thank God. I think people over time have just learned my rhythms of, again, I think we've talked about this, and I don't want to sound like a pretentious, annoying artiste, but the truth of my life or how I work is I go into the cone of silence and I disappear for months on end. I just do. But when I come out and I am sitting with you, or I am talking to you, or we are having sushi, or whatever's happening, I am 100% present. And if you 911 me, you need me, I will drop everything and I will be there. The people in my life know that they're not getting a day-to-day, but they're getting what I can give. It's very hard to write a novel and like be chatty with people all day. Here's another thing though, back to the introvert extrovert thing. When you have age and distance and you can look back and go, the thing that I used to beat myself up about for being an introvert, I didn't know that's what was happening, but I was like, why am I so antisocial? Is actually the thing that allowed me to do the thing I do now. If I was an extrovert and needed that social interaction all the time, I'd never be in my chair long enough to write a paragraph, let alone a novel.
Totally.
So it is really interesting. These things that we judge ourselves for when we're younger kind of end up being our superpowers. When we're older, we just don't know it.
Do you also find when you're like you're writing the book right now, obviously, do you find yourself just extremely preoccupied in conversation? Like if someone's trying to talk to you and you're like, okay, but I'm thinking about Alicia's B plot right now.
Not at all.
Like you
Never.
don't find, so you're able to clock out. Like when you get away from your desk, you're able to clock out.
I am a hyper focuser. So whatever I am doing, I am hyper focused
Locked
this is
in.
why I hate small talk when I walk my dog and somebody stops to say hi to me. Like I feel like I've been punched in the head. Like
I hate it too.
I'm either in a podcast, in my mind, whatever. I don't like small talk because it interrupts where I'm at. It does something to me. I'm not proud of it. This is just how it is. I was out for dinner with a friend last night. We were talking about how like on the outside, she's so much nicer, but on the inside, I'm so much nicer.
I feel the same. I know that I'm nice, but I'm so shy. Like I'm a little shy. It's
You
really
are?
fucking a little bit. I don't know. It's really challenging, and I think it's also. Oh my God, we're having therapy. I think that because of how I grew up and like the industry was so rough, I just kind of expect the worst. Like I just think people suck because of the industry I grew up in, and like because like showbiz sucks, and people don't keep their word, and like nothing means anything, and there's no loyalty, and like a lot of times there's no follow through. I don't think I was always this way, but like I think it kind of made me just like a little scared to be open. And I feel what's funny is I don't think that anyone would consider you an introvert actually, because you have such a great personality. You're so funny. Like you're seemingly outgoing, as am I, but like I'm kind of shy. I get social anxiety so badly, and not even like going to a party with people. Like that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like just like I could never just have small talk with a stranger. I would never initiate like I had to like muster up the courage to talk to a woman at Pilates yesterday.
Really?
To like make small talk. Yeah. Like I literally, it's hard for me. I don't like it.
That's
don't
funny.
like it.
I would never think that about you either.
No,
Ever.
of course not. Everyone's shocked by that. But it's like, but like Clive knows that, and he's the opposite. Like he talks to everyone. So friendly, making friends everywhere, buying people drinks. I'm like, who are these? Who are our new friends? Like I'm so confused always. Like I come out of the bathroom and he's like, you know, sitting at someone else's table. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So that's never me. It's nice because he kind of pushes me to be a little more open in that way, but it's not my nature at all. And I got a new day job and it's requiring me to like be out and talk to people. And like I'm going into places and pitching myself and pitching like what I'm working on and stuff. And I had to like psych myself up to go do that. And it was tough. I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like if they're mean to you, it's okay. Whatever, they're mean and go on with your day. You just can't care. And the lesson is like people were so nice to me. I was shocked. Like everyone was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, am I just traumatized from like show business and also living in New York? People are not nice in New York. Everyone's like, what do you want? Like,
Right.
what do you want from me? And so I'm just anticipating everyone to have an attitude with me and be rude. And everyone was so warm, fuzzy, like lovely, helpful, not like genuinely nice. I'm like, oh, maybe I should just like talk to people more often. What is wrong with me?
What if you like, well, you are an actor. What if you took on this like role of I'm going to act like come up with a character, an
I have
alter
to give myself
ego.
a script. Yep, I have
Give
to
yourself
have
a script and like get into character and just
I know.
act.
I know.
That'd be a fun little experiment to see how that
That's
goes. Report back.
literally, that's what I just did though, basically. Like I was like, okay, just like pretend to be like a fun, outgoing person. Just pretend.
What would her name be? We got to name that character the alter ego.
Color. I don't know.
Color.
Fuck. What's funny, and now that I'm thinking about all of this, like my two oldest, closest friends are kind of the same way. Like Justin's like that too. Yeah.
So do you have a role like in your friend group that you snap back into when you're with those people that knew you from a long time ago? Like those Burbank kids. Did you have a role in that ecosystem that you feel like you've outgrown, but if you saw them today, you might snap back into it?
Interesting. Like my middle school clique, I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. I don't feel all that different. What's so weird, and I'm sure I've talked to you about this, when I was 12, I couldn't wait to be 32. I'm like, I want to be an
That
adult
tracks.
so bad. Like, I hated being a kid. I was like uncomfortable being a kid. I did not like it. I loved working with adults. I loved being around adults always, always. Like, even when I was in elementary school, I remember there was a bunch of kids and a bunch of moms. I would like go sit with the moms. Like I didn't want to be
my
with all
God.
the kids. I was
It's
like
so
that
funny.
kid.
That's why we get along so well. I did not want to be an adult. Like the word, this is so weird. The
weird.
word woman made me nauseous. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand it, but like
You're like, I'm just a girl.
a woman, like, ugh. It was so weird. I just was not wanting to grow
Yeah.
up. But like my role with like that, my core group of like middle
Did you
school
have a
and high
clique?
school friends,
Like
I did.
of girls. Yeah.
Yes. And my role in that group was probably like goofy, kind of dumb. I did not do well in school, and I did not
That's
try.
surprising, but not.
I did not try. Thanks. But
No, it's not because like you're too creative. Like it's too.
Yeah,
School's
I
bullshit.
didn't-
Like fuck
I
school.
didn't do
Like,
well in school. I didn't know how to study. I couldn't anchor like to study.
Yeah.
There's definitely like if I was a kid today, the tests would have been run and I would have pages of results. I just was an untreated something or many things. But it was a different time and nobody was diagnosed unless you were
Right.
extreme.
Extreme.
So I am a walking undiagnosed.
like what? Like ADHD? Like
Oh, all of it. Like
Yeah.
learn like disorders and executive
know.
functions. And I don't know what it
Yeah.
was. I
Yeah.
don't want to know because I've somehow figured out like workarounds and I can function in
Yeah.
society and have a career and hold down a job. Like I'm fine. But there was stuff going on for sure that medication probably would have been helpful for. I was terrible at directions, terrible at reading maps, which again means nothing to you. But back in the day, like forget it.
huge. You
Forget
couldn't-
driving
like,
around.
What do you
and
do?
figure-
That's like my
nothing.
mom.
Like
my dad
worst.
still makes fun of my mom. My mom cannot read a map. It's like the same.
It's hell.
And my dad was like, Ellen, you have no idea. Like when we were teenagers and like in our 20s and trying to get somewhere, and I'm
No.
driving and your mom's reading the map. It's like
It's the number one like fight of men and women from that era in a car. Like the number one. Tears, 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 and tears.
Oh
to
my
this day,
God.
even like with Google Maps, we'll be driving and Wyatt will be like, look at the phone and tell me where. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I can't.
no, I know. I
breathe.
shut down too.
I tell him that it's because I have motion sickness in the car, but that's not true. I cannot read the map. So when I'm around my high school, middle school friends, same people, I'm kind of seen as a like, oh, that's just Lisi, or like, I don't remember people. I had a terrible memory then. Turns out, like, I've never seen this guy before. Yes, you have. You dated him for 3 weeks. I don't remember him at all. Like, real, like, blind spots.
So your memory's always been like that?
Always.
That is wild.
I will remember the most novel, bizarre, granular details that are so specific that will blow your mind because those are interesting to me. The rest, I'm in my head. My eyeballs are turned inward throughout my life. If they are turned outward, it's for a reason because something real interesting is going on out there and I'm putting it in my bank. So that's kind of what they would see me as. They would see me as probably witty, funny, but they all were. All of us were funny. It was a funny group. So I don't know. When I'm with them, I definitely snap back into the role of that girl. Not like I'm trying to be kind of dodo, but it just happens because they are the role of like, they're just more on it. They're more like aware. So I tend to feel really small when I'm with them a lot. Yeah. And just like, do you guys know that like I've done some good things, or like people don't think I'm dumb where I live, or you know what I mean? I kind of want.
They also don't think you're dumb. Like that's what's crazy.
But I will always
feelings
assume that unless we did group therapy, and I should get them on the horn. It would be a really interesting conversation on the horn, by the way. Is an old way for saying on the phone, in case you didn't know that. You looked at me like, what the fuck
I
is
know
she
that
talking
one.
about?
No, I know that one.
It was like from Flintstone days. I don't know. But I should talk to them and say like, what did you think of me? What do you think of me now? And we should all do it for each other because you do get trapped in these old roles. And I moved to another country. I don't see them in my day-to-day. So I was able to not reinvent myself, but figure out who I was without that dynamic. Like on my own, who am I? What am I capable of? And you go out there and you accomplish all of this stuff. And then you go back and you kind of leave that stuff because who am I in this dynamic if I'm now the smart, like I'm smart and I'm successful and I've done all these amazing things and I've started these companies, whatever. Like, well, that doesn't fit my role with this group. So I kind of have to leave that at the door if I want things to run smoothly. And I think a lot of us do that. You have a very interesting situation because
it's weird. I was like,
it's weird.
And
it's
so
ragtag.
Weird. Well, it's just not. It's just not typical.
Yeah.
It's just not. Like, it's a very strange upbringing. When I think about who I was in middle school, I'm like, same, but I was working professionally when I was in middle school. So like I was doing the things I was pursuing and doing the things that I'm still pursuing and doing now and in my 30s, which is like not a lot of people can say that. I recognize, you know, the most important thing in my life in middle school and high school was my career and what I was doing in show choir. That was my whole life was show choir, you know. So when I'm with my friends who like haven't sung in a decade, I'm like, that is crazy to me. That was like the thing at my high school. We were all in show choir together. When Clive and I have gone to like weddings and funerals and things with like friends from middle school and high school, all of the guys that are there, all of the girls, he's like, they were all in choir with you. I'm like, I didn't know anyone outside of choir. That was my entire ecosystem.
Was choir competitive though?
It was extremely competitive.
So
like,
were
internally
they,
and
was there drama?
Generally. Oh my God.
See, this is my point. You could,
oh my God, there was so much drama.
A situation, especially with women on women, and you are in a competitive environment, then you're in for it. Remember when we talked to the authors of Mean Girls at Work?
Yes,
I don't know if this airs before or after, whatever. So I don't know. One of the most interesting things that they said is women who grew up playing competitive sports are much better at dealing with women in their lives because they know how to compete and how to show up in a healthier way. They know how to lose to each other. They know how to win to each other. And it's just healthier. Like for the rest of us, we were not taught how to compete with each other in a healthy way. That is a skill that women, young women, are not being taught at all. It's the reason why there's so much drama.
And we spoke on this when we recorded that episode also, but I think that's why I feel the way that I do in terms of like female friendships and just the way that I move through life, because I was already working, like even within show choir, where like it was extremely competitive. There was so much drama all the time. And I was truly a nightmare. I will be so self-aware. I was Rachel Berry from Glee, Sharpay Evans from High School Musical, the devil incarnate. Like, I'm able to laugh about it now and be like, why was I so fucking annoying? But I wasn't a mean girl. And like a friend of mine from high school, and I spoke about that a couple years ago, she was like, you were never mean. You were just like insane. You know, like you were just so like driven and intense and like wanted to be the best. And I was so hard on myself too. Like that's really what it was. I was so hard on myself. My number had to be the best. I had to get the most acts in Pop Show. I wasn't competing with anybody else. I was competing with myself. But I think in that situation, because I had already been auditioning for so many years, like even before high school, I was like, well, Katie's the best dancer. Like, I'm not going to be a better dancer than Katie. She's the dance captain. She's going to win best performer. Like, why would I be jealous of that? But she can't sing like I can. So who cares? You know, like everyone has their thing to bring to the table. And I just always had an awareness that I think because I was auditioning, it's like, life's not fair, kid. That's just the way it goes.
That also makes me think you were in an extremely unique situation because you were so aware of your talent and your quote unquote purpose from a very young age. What's happening with most kids, middle school kids, when a lot of this starts, you have no idea who you are. You don't know what your talent is yet. You don't even know what you're interested in yet. So you are figuring this out in real time. And when you're younger, as you said earlier, you know, all of your friends are mostly curated by your parents. And then you get to middle school, you have this sort of sense of like, I have a little independence now. I'm a little older. I can kind of pick my friends. Oh, you know what? I was put in soccer, but I don't like soccer. I like karate. And so I'm now going to like try on karate for a minute. But now my soccer friends are pissed because I left them. And now I'm trying karate and like, I don't know if I like karate. I might like dancing. So now I'm going to try dancing. And you're trying on all of these different personalities and friendships and trying to figure it out. And that sort of going into new groups, leaving other groups behind while you're trying on all these different personas creates a lot of like, you left me. Where are you going? You think you're so cool. Now you're hanging out with these people. Da, da, da. And it's really just muggles trying to figure out who they are. And that's also such a source of why it happens in middle school.
And you know what's funny? It's like, I think for a lot of people, and I'm kind of jealous of this experience, but I did have it later with Kinky Boots. I think that's college for a lot of people. It is like really the time where you're supposed to be figuring out what you want to do with your life, actually. Like, that's what the college years are for, post-high school. You're not supposed to know who you are at 13.
Right.
You're not supposed
so
to.
Let's say you go to college, you found your people, and then from college you get a job in another city, and then those become your people and the work people, and then you meet your future spouse, and then like now you go back home to your small town, and you are no longer the person that has evolved all those, you know, deviations away from who you were. You are right back to who you were. And again, I don't know that you can relate to this as much as most people because you really have had a very different, unique experience.
No, and like listening to what you're saying, I'm like, I've always been that bitch. Like, I've literally been the same. And even like, I'm listening to Streisand's memoir right now on
which I
audiobook. I mean, I have 23 hours left. And I started at 48 hours. I'm halfway through. It's over 800 pages. Like, it's
you got to listen to memoirs of young people, then it'll be shorter.
But it's so funny because I'm like listening to it and I'm like, yeah, I was obsessed with Streisand when I was 6. I was obsessed with Streisand when I was 12, 16. Like, oh my God, like all of high school, I would just pour over those records and like imitate her. And I'm still doing it. I'm 32 and I'm like listening to her memoir and going back and listening to the music and like learning new songs and I'm like, I'm doing the same shit that I did when I was 6, honestly, which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't think we change that much. I think we just come into ourselves. Like most people, we call it, we've changed so much, or like, oh, I haven't seen so-and-so. I saw them at the reunion. They've changed so much. No, they haven't. They've just become who they are. They've owned it. Everybody thinks, okay, I've gone off on this big adventure and I've come back so different and you expect everyone else to stay the way they were. And so if we want other people to accept us for who we are, we kind of have to give them the same grace. And it's very hard. I guess it's like destabilizing to think, well, everybody's changed, because then you feel like you don't have a footing, like, no, I'm the one that gets to go change and everything needs to be the way it was so that I feel safe when I return. But if everything's different, then like, I don't know this world. It's scary.
Can I ask you a Clique related question, and then should we go into our State of the Union? Since we started this whole conversation with the Clique kind of bringing up all of these conversations between you and I, which then inspired this podcast to exist, who do you think, in writing the new book, who do you think has changed the most, and who do you think has changed the least of the 5 of them?
That is a really great question. I don't think any of them have changed at all.
Who's evolved the most?
See, what you're saying is it's a great question, because it really is the difference between the details. So they've all changed. The details of their lives have changed. Their interests haven't evolved too dramatically. They are sort of manifesting who they are. They're living their interests. Mm-hmm. What we will learn as the book progresses is exactly kind of what we're saying. They haven't changed that much. Their insecurities are the same. Their blind spots are the same. Their shortcomings are the same. Their strengths are the same. Mm-hmm. And they are all under the delusion that they have outgrown their middle grade selves, because their current relationships aren't as fraught or damaged. They're more mature. Right. They have these better jobs. They are more self-aware. They have more agency. However, that's the whole point of bringing them together again. They're going to realize that, we haven't really done the internal work required to be with these people again and hold on to who I really am. Oh no, I am still insecure. Oh no, I am still threatened by this person. Oh no, I do still need to feel like I'm in charge, to feel like I matter. Every single one of those insecurities is going to come out. And that's what I think is we've done so well with this book, is that you don't have to have read the Clique series to identify with this, to have identified with these characters. I mean, you might be one of the only people I know that won't entirely be able to identify with this firsthand, because you just did have such a different existence, which I'm so glad we talked about. It's really interesting. But for most people who do go back or get reunited with people from their past, you will realize that you are activated because you haven't done the work. Right. You've just moved away from it. You've got farther and farther from the epicenter.
Well, you know what's funny? When I asked you that, I did kind of have like answers of my own in mind.
Okay, what are they? I would love to hear your answers.
I think out of all of them, the one who's changed the least is Massey. I think she's the most like who she was in middle school, and I think she's also the most unaware of that. I think in her mind, she's so much more evolved. And like, who was that? That was a million years ago. And it's like, girl, you're doing the same stuff. Like,
I think Claire's the same too. Because she will
the two of them are the least
driven
changed.
To abandon her values, abandon her sense of right or wrong, in order to fit in again with these girls. She will remember that she has lost that thread with them. She can't hold on to it. And it's fascinating to see and to write and to revisit. It really is.
It's such a joy.
It really is.
And of the 5 of them, I think the one who's evolved the most, which isn't particularly surprising, in my opinion, I think is Kristen.
I agree.
Yeah. She's like the most different than who she was in middle school. The 2 others, it's like, that tracks.
They're all this, but it does track.
They're all the same. Yeah.
But that's life. Like, you're still you as you go through these different phases of life. You're still carrying the same factory settings with you from stage to stage. Different people ignite different things, different opportunities and experiences form you along the way. Yeah. But you're still you. And you're only going to really change if you want to, and be like, have a really good therapist and are willing to do the work. Otherwise,
Otherwise,
why would you be different?
Yeah. And that GLUs is a look into an outlining session. That's what we did for months.
For real. But it's so interesting because we're really just talking about psychology. We're talking about humanity.
We had conversations like the last however many minutes for 6 months for hours.
Yeah.
Hours we sat and talked about this stuff. And that's what's really fun too. It's like, I know you're over there just like working your ass off and writing, but like to be able to see it really come to life and read the pages, like the latest pages is so fun. Because it's like, oh my God, like all the stuff we talked about, like it's all in there. It all made its way in there somehow.
Well, it's funny. I mean, reading the series again, what is blowing my mind is, to my point, these girls are human to me. They're fully formed. They're very well developed characters. And I am writing stuff in the current book for certain characters that I forgot were in the older books. Like they're just so consistently them.
Yes.
That it's blowing my mind. Or
Wow.
I'm just still so consistently me, which maybe that's the interesting takeaway, like to bring it all back home. The books that I was writing, let's call it 25 years ago. I mean, I've lived a lot of life in the last 25 years. I've learned a lot. I've gone through a lot, but I'm still bringing the same things to these characters because I'm still me. I have changed. I have been forced to evolve. I have done a lot of work. But when I think of Alicia, I'm still, thinking about
you
her
tap
posture.
in so fast. Yeah. Like you can just, well, you know them so well. You spent so many years with them. So it's like, of course, you're able to just pop right back into who they are.
So they are the same, but they're different. And until they meet up with each other, it's almost like there should be a new form of therapy maybe, where you're forced to reconnect with the friends that were in the most sort of influential time of your life when you were the rawest and the least sure of yourself. And it should be some sort of weird group therapy where you have to metabolize your old behaviors and become really self-aware. And maybe that's like the cleansing of all your old idiosyncrasies and insecurities. And God, it's psychology.
I had to untangle. I started therapy after high school and it untangled so much for me. Like I was very traumatized by like middle school and high school because I was just so bold. I don't know. I came in so hot and like I was just so unafraid to like be who the fuck I was. Like I was just not afraid. I don't know if that came from like my parents, probably. I don't know.
Well, what would your friends at that time have said about you?
Like, you're too much. I always felt like I was too much, like growing up. And so then when I got older and I had my first like serious boyfriend who was really mean to me, and then we broke up and all of that, I came out of it just like I had like a psychotic fear of being too much between high school and like adulthood, I guess. So like my college years, that's really, I think, where like my introversion and all of that really picked up and ramped up because I was so afraid of being too much for people and like not being liked because I was just frankly too much.
But so let me ask you this, because this is, I'm truly asking what you think here. Do you think that is society doing you a favor when all of us are being sort of made to change or evolve or become bigger or smaller or whatever because of other people's feedback? Is that their way of like helping you? Like, hey, you know what? Just so you know, in the world, that bigness is too much for us. Or is the reaction, you know what, fuck you all, this is who I am, look out because here I come, like cue the theme song from Greatest Showman. And like, I think so much of us are like, no, this is who I am. But maybe there's something to take away. Like if enough people are saying it, are we supposed to take that in or
of course
dump it?
Like look in the mirror. And like that's the thing. It's like you do have to look in the mirror every once in a while, and it's painful. It was hard. It was like the thing that I consistently heard was like, you're too much. And then I started like having relationships and like I love so hard. I do everything, like I'm very intense. Like I go, and if you're my friend, like I'm there for you. I'm like, and so in romantic relationships, a lot of times like guys have been like, it's too much. Like it's too much. That's always been the feedback. And it's, you know, you do have to like listen to it. And the pendulum swung like very far the other way after high school because I was extremely damaged and like I had a big bullying issue my like last year of high school, extremely traumatizing, and took a lot of therapy to like untangle and figure out. But then what's funny, like what we were talking about, I think a lot of people find their home in college. And like for me, that was Kinky Boots. I joined Kinky Boots and everyone there was too much. Like I was like, oh, everyone here is Like, I mean, I can't compete with these fucking drag queens. Like, are you kidding
Right.
me? Like,
So,
yeah, it was
so the
like
world
the
just
best.
made you small. Like, I wonder if it's like how it
Right.
is like when you go to Harvard and suddenly you're not the smartest person in the room.
Totally. And so, but then it was like amazing because then I was able to be like, oh, there are other people like me
Yeah.
that they were all the kid growing up that everyone told them that they were too much, all of my friends, and too intense and too driven, but like they're all on Broadway, so fuck off, you know? Like it's that's also like kind of how I feel. But at the same time, I think having swung the pendulum both ways, I've now somewhat been able to find a balance. And like, I'm now able to shapeshift. When I'm on Ninth Avenue, like, are you kidding me? I'm the 22-year-old animal that I was like a decade ago. But like, that's not me when I'm like out here in Austin with like muggles and normal people. I'm able to kind of figure it out and manage it a little bit better than I have in my youth.
Yeah. And I think to bring it full circle, that's exactly what happens when we go back or we're reunited with those people from different parts of our lives. It's not that we're weak or we're stunted or emotionally immature. I think it's just that. It's adapting to the rules of that particular ecosystem. In this group of people, I play this role because that's how we all know it's done. Again, I always go back to awareness of, okay, when you're with this group of people, this is your role. Maybe it's just fun to be aware of what that role is and take a look back at your past self and go, oh, at that stage of my life, this is where I was.
But that's also why I've said on past episodes, like, I think it's the greenest flag ever when people have friends from all eras. If you're able to maintain friendships, I mean, again, who I was talking about earlier, Justin, I met him in an acting class when I was 12. I so could have met him in that class, been friends for like a little bit, and then drifted apart and like, okay, we're kind of acquainted. Like, who would have ever thought that we would be like family 20 years later? It informs everything that I think, like, that's it. How can you not be introspective when you have all of these people around you from all of these different periods of your life? It makes you like a better, more self-aware and evolved person to have people in your life from different eras. The experience is pretty universal of everything that we've just talked about. All right, let's do our Ask a GLU. I think the girls need advice.
Okay, on this Ask a GLU, actually, like, I didn't even understand what the question was.
Well, let's unpack that.
My question is, what's this question?
Okay, Ask a GLU is our advice segment that we do every week on this show. GLU stands for Girls Like Us. So the girls like us write in and we try to help them solve their quandaries, answer their questions, give any sort of brilliant wisdom that we have to offer. So this is this week's submission to Ask a GLU. One of the GLUs says, end of last year, I left my boyfriend of 8 years. Not a bad breakup, just outgrew him. Any advice? I mean,
what's the problem?
Outgrew him. It's funny because it's kind of like parallel to what we're talking about. Like sometimes you just outgrow people.
I know, but what are they asking? Like, they sound pretty in control of the situation and like everything's chill. Not a bad breakup, just outgrew him. Any advice?
Yeah, but it's
what?
still, that's going to rock your world. If you're with someone for 8 years, your whole life is different when you end a relationship of that, especially of that length. I mean, that's like holidays, birthdays, like your whole life is going to change. That's a big adjustment.
It is.
Even if it's fine and it's not a bad breakup and like everything's okay, like it's still, it's got to be kind of a mindfuck of an adjustment to like reshape your life. Like, oh, I'm alone. I don't have to think about another person all day, every day.
True. Okay, so I would say then start new traditions. You start like, okay, so holidays, to your point, will be sad and empty and all those things. So start a new tradition, start a new kind of Thanksgiving, start a new Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever. Create your own traditions. It's going to be a year of realizing like everything's different. So create a year of firsts.
Totally. I think that's great advice. So I dated someone for like most of my 20s and that breakup nearly killed me. Truly. It took a long time to heal, but I took like 6 months to a year to just like be by myself, like truly be by myself. And it was brutal, but like it was so painful. But like I wasn't alone. My parents were incredible. My friends like all took care of me. Everyone swooped in and like picked me up when I was like really down. But at the same time, I didn't want to waste time. Like I wanted to date, but I didn't date for probably a good 7-8 months. I was like fully single for months. And then when I started dating, I just kind of thought of it like a game. I would just go on like these Hinge dates with these randos here in Austin. I moved here. I didn't know a single person here other than my dad. And I would just like kind of treated dating like practice. And it kind of was the best thing I could have done. I was not like, I'm going to meet my husband. That wasn't at all how I thought about dating or approached dating at all. And so I kind of just like had fun and went out with people. And like, if they never called me again, okay, like no hard feelings. And then when I met Clive, it was just like, I felt ready because I was like, I've dated, you know, like I've been out there, I've seen what's out there. I feel well rehearsed. I'm not a nervous wreck going on a first date. I've been on 50 in the past like couple months. It's all fine, you know? And so that's how I was able to like get comfortable dating again, which I don't know if that's what the advice was, but that you were seeking, but that's how I did it. And it worked out great. So
great.
If you're scared to start dating, just like take like 6 months for yourself at least. And then just like get out there and have fun.
Yeah. Low stakes. Like maybe like
Low stakes.
keep a journal about the funny, like horrible dates or do a little podcast about them or a little, I don't know, whatever, but just try and make it all fun.
Yeah.
Fun,
Yeah.
low stakes. And as I like to say, things fall apart when they need to be rebuilt. So this fell apart because it needs to be rebuilt. You need to be rebuilt. Get out there and build.
Okay, so this is our current State of the Union. We do this segment on our show every week where we give our in and our out list for the week. I give my in and out, Lisi gives her in and out, and then we come up with a collective in and out based off of what we've just talked about on this episode. So, Lisi, I'm going to let you start.
Okay.
What is your in and out for this week?
Out is bot friends. You know, the whole like everyone having cheat GPT boyfriends.
Yes.
And in is boyfriends. In is boyfriends. Out is bot friends. Why? I recently read an article in New York Magazine about all these like intense bot friend relationships. And while I understand that it's very nice to live in an echo chamber and have these relationships with these sort of not at all human things that tell you what you need to hear. It can be very comforting, especially if you're lonely or in a horrible relationship. But we're already living in echo chambers. All of the algorithms are just giving us what we want to hear. And if you have a bot friend, you are going to probably also just get exactly what you need when you need it. And there's something that is very healthy about being in a messy relationship with a human being, because as we said, it forces you to learn and change and evolve and grow and do the hard work. And if you're not doing that and you're just dating something that is telling you exactly what you're going to need to hear all the time, you're going to just stay shitty.
Yeah.
You're not going to evolve. You're not going to do the hard work. You're not going to get better. And sometimes like it hurts, but we have to hear the inconvenient truth. So
totally
find real relationships. Let's break up with our bot friends. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Thank you.
Mine is very similar. The world is so heavy right now. There is so much going on, and it just feels like every other day, or honestly, every day you wake up to something more horrible than the next. Like, it's just so heavy, and I'm really trying to find the joy. And the way that I've been doing that recently is genuinely through human connection and like getting off my phone, human connection, being face to face with another person and having a moment and really quieting the noise. It's extraordinarily noisy right now. My in is IRL. We all know what that means. And my out is real life for my people, for my Gen X sisters,
for my geriatric sisters in real life.
And out is AI hell.
Hell. Love it.
It's hell. So our collective for this week is in the old me. Out
the old me.
The old me.
We are what we are, people. Let's accept it. Be nice.
Let's just be nice to ourselves. Be kind to yourself. Like, we're just so tough on ourselves. I'm trying to be nice to myself. We're both bad about this. Like, the negative self-talk, I'm really trying to work on it.
Well, speak for yourself. I am Bethany Frankel in 2026. I am unstoppable and gorgeous. If you do have any questions for us, GLUs, about anything, really, please send them to thestateofthereunion@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for listening to our show. My name is Ellen Marlowe.
I'm Lisi Harrison.
Thank you so much for listening to EhMaGawd. We are available wherever you stream podcasts. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're also on YouTube in video format. Very exciting. Please follow our socials. We have an Instagram and TikTok account, EhMaGawd Podcast. Thank you to our producers, Isabella Betcher, Krista McLaughlin, and thank you to our graphics goddess, Bella Tamayo. We could not do the show without you. We love you, GLUs, and thank you so much for listening to our show. We will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Love you madly. Love yourself.
Love you. Bye.